Welcome everybody, welcome to another segment of Tony's show, and today we are going to be so all over the place you're going to think you've been around the planet 10 times. I'm going to start off by talking about virgins, okay, you heard me correctly, yes, I'm referring to virgins, and I'll tell you why I'm going with virgins. I had a young woman contact me and say to me, well, Tony, take it easy on us with the nano. I'm just a virgin at this. I said, okay, fine. So I sent her some information on nanotechnology. Here's some foreplay. I said, there you go for it. And I know somebody's saying, aren't you being a little sexual here? No, I'm not. I am just basically being very direct and talking the way the language goes. I can speak all kinds of language. I can speak ghetto, I can speak eloquence, I can speak sexual, I can speak non-sexual. You know, however it comes my way, I can roll with the flow. Sometimes I can even speak spiritual, sometimes. I prefer salt of the earth, but what the heck. Okay. And the reason why I'm coming off that way is because she made a point to me about something. It came... the way she expressed it, and I got what she was saying. She wasn't being sexual with me whatsoever, or nor was she being flirtatious. She was basically saying that she didn't know, and she was, trying to learn. Because some asshole, and I'm going to be salt of the earth here, and ghetto, if you will, some asshole came out there from Iran or Iraq or whatever, say, oh, this is where the space agency, and this is what we're doing for the coronavirus, and blah, 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 and it's going to do this, it's going to do that. That video was a hijack and a half. That bastard basically put out bad information to cause heavy-duty poisoning. I have said this many a time. There isn't a nano metal out there that benefits us on any level. Zero. Any goofy guru that jumps on the bandwagon on this needs to be flogged. Flogged, castrated, or de-breasted. I'm not kidding. This is unbelievable that this was even allowed. But see, this is the problem. And I get this, and I got where she was coming from. Because there is not enough information, or there is a lot of information, but nobody takes the time to read it, and I'm going to get into something about that in a little while. I decided tonight to put on the format below all the Wix sites that I put up, which are really simplistic to really go look at. Anybody can look at them and learn about nano this way, if you want to take the time. And if you don't take the time, I've come up with this conclusion. A lot are too damn lazy to read the information. Cool, no problem. But then I get the emails. I get all kinds of emails. Tony, what about this? What about that? Blah, 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 blah. And I did something on the YouTube channel, and I thought, you know what? I should just transfer it over to this as well, because this will free up my time so I can do some real research and R&D that I need to get done. On the YouTube channel, I demonstrated all the things that I've given everybody for free. And I have no problem, no qualm about giving these things for free away. I've done it, and I'll continue to do so. But I also stated on there that if I have to do the work for you, I am going to charge you for that work. And everyone said and thought that was agreeable. Now I'm going to do the same thing here on this nano. We have done research. Brian 396 and myself have done over a decade of data digging for everybody and putting the information out there so that everybody can access to it. And while we still have the internet, I would suggest you go and get the information and read it. Understand it, study it, make it part of your whatever, your life. It says the work has already been up there, and a lot of you will not take the time to look at the work but send me an email to get a shortcut. I will now charge people for information on nano. And now let me reiterate on this what I mean. If the question you're asking is about the research or about something that you're studying in regarding to something I put out there or Brian may have put out there, I will direct you to Brian if it's his work. Then I won't charge you. But if you watch some asinine video or listen to some stupid bastard come out there and talk a lot of bullshit about something they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about to sell you whatever, and then you contact me, I'm going to give you two options. A, I'm going to charge you the $35 consultation fee, or B, I will send you to all the links that are out there for you to read and investigate so that you will learn, study and learn, however you want to put it, so that nobody can bullshit you any longer. See, I'm making a terrible mistake by just giving the information out, because what's happening is I'm giving a lot of information out, and a lot of you are just taking that information and not doing anything more with it other than, okay, Tony said this. I'm flattered that you're saying Tony said this, but I would be more flattered if not only did I say something, but you actually followed through and learned it. This way you don't have to relate to me saying I said this. You can say I studied this. I tested this. I understand this. I'm out of the equation. Okay? And that's the way it should be. I should be out of the equation, and you should be in the equation, understanding and knowing what it is you're doing. So when you see anybody from any space agency, because see, this is the thing that stuns me. You know, I don't profess to be the smartest guy on the planet, but I got to tell you something. When I see stupid on the magnitude I see, I am at a loss how anybody can be this bloody stupid. This is almost on the level of F-tard mentality here. Okay, when a space agency comes out with any information whatsoever, why in the bloody blazes would you trust it? Why would you trust it? NASA, well, let's just go to our own space agency in the West here. NASA has been killing people with experiments that they have conducted without publicly letting the public know that they're doing this. They got a history going all the way back to the 50s, 40s. They even acknowledged that they were chemtrailing the sky so they could test for lithium. Like, I mean, are you kidding me? What I mean by testing for lithium, they released lithium up in the sky so they could monitor the weather. Now, really? Releasing lithium in the sky? In the past, they've leaked radioactive material to the general population in Chicago and other places. They have flown low-flying chemtrail experiments in Escanaba, Ontario. Why would you believe these people? They're selling you a product right now called Carbon C60, which is toxic as hell. I mean, this is why I'm doing this $35 thing now, because I figure if you're this dumb and you are this gullible to not at least take the time to research information and clear-cut data. Now, I'm not talking to people who are awake. I'm not talking to people who are followers of these programs, because most of you know what's going on. But those that you're giving this program to, that, again, are just too bloody lazy to get off. And if you are listening and the same thing, you're too lazy, I'm going to charge you. I am done with this as far as just being flabbergasted. I cannot, in my mind, understand how somebody can beat you and beat you and beat you, and you keep running back to the very people that beat you for help. The medical institutions have never cured nothing since the Second World War. Zero. And you keep going back to these bastards, and they keep screwing you with medications that cause untold damage to your genetic code. They cause you to become addicted to their drugs, and they don't fix nothing, and you slowly wither away and die. Tell me what they have cured, what makes them so attractive that you keep running to them, and all they do is screw you. A guy from a space agency from another country, do you think they give especially Iran, gives a shit about the West? After all the problems that there's going on between the West and Iran, you think they give a flying flamingo about you? Whew. Man, I'll tell you. I need to have a cannabis farm. I'd be rich. Here, smoke this. You'll see. You'll touch Jupiter. I mean, honestly, do you guys ever think before you leap? I used to tell my son when he was growing up, I gave him a five-letter word. He hated that word. He hated it with a passion. Because every time he did something, he knew that was coming out of my mouth. I used to tell him to focus. Focus, focus, focus. What are you doing? Focus. Then when he got to be about 23 years old, he was telling his friends, focus, is that I become you. You have to focus. Understand what I'm saying to you here. I'm not going to give you a cartoon. I'm not going to give you a song and dance. I'm telling you, I'm showing you the facts. I'm showing you how to understand the facts. I'm showing you how you can become, knowledgeable and experienced with these facts. You cannot trust any government agency, especially these space agencies. These are military agencies. They do not give a shit about you at all. All you are to them is an expendable experiment. That's all you are. Did it ever occur to any of you that the coronavirus may not actually be the problem, that it might be a frequency activated condition? In other words, you've been loaded up with a nano programming, and all of a sudden, a frequency goes off, and now you are responding to that frequency, causing you to collapse. Did anybody ever even think in those terms? Has it even occurred to anybody? See, in the last video, I showed you a video where an Asian fellow was running full gallop. I think he got about 5 or 6 steps, and then he dropped. There is no bloody way that was a virus. Zero. That was pure bullshit and propaganda they were showing you. But because everybody doesn't study, doesn't understand, doesn't look at things correctly, if a man had a virus of that nature, of that magnitude, of that infection, he would not have been able to even lift a leg, much less run at a full gallop. How many of you ever had a flu? Had it so bad you couldn't even get out of bed. Matter of fact, you had to crawl to go to the toilet in order to take a piss or a dump, and crawl back. That's how weak you were. You think you could have ran a full gallop if you had a viral infection of that magnitude? There'd be no way. And he ran full gallop, 5 steps, and then he just dropped. It's as if someone put him between the crosshairs of something and shot him or released something on him to take him out. And I'm referring to a frequency. And if you look at it very closely, if you understand the video and you see what's going on, you can see that's exactly what happened. The virus may or may not be the problem. Now, if a coronavirus has jumped into men and women, that had help. There's no way that's going to happen unless it has help. It's coming from snakes and other animals, and it's in the animal kingdom. For it to have crossed over, it would have had to have help. Step 1. Step 2, and I said this 4 or 5 days before it even got out on the internet, that this was targeting Asians. I saw that right away, that this was assaulting the Asian population, the Asian genetics, because it hit Japan, Hong Kong, Korea, Thailand, and mainland China. Okay, now they're saying the same thing. Now they're even validating what I've been saying in regard to this being targeting the genome. Now, you're hearing a lot of bullshit as well on taking antivirals. I'm not going to hurt you to take them. I'm not going to discourage you from taking them, but don't think in your mind for 1 minute that it's going to stop this. If this is a frequency activation program running, and they're trying it on the Asians first, you can bet your ass sometime within the next year we're going to have a new flu, a new virus come out, or some other new worldwide epidemic thing, And next time it might target maybe East Indians, or maybe it might target Filipino people, or it may target people in Vietnam, or may target people maybe in the Ukraine or Russia, or maybe it might target people in Romania, Bulgaria, Lithuania, Estonia, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary. Maybe it might target Germany, maybe it might target Norway. Maybe it might target Scandinavian people with a Scandinavian gene, or maybe it might target Mediterranean people from the Mediterranean, or hell, they might even send it into the Middle East. God only knows. The Middle East has been nothing but one big frickin' experiment for the last 85, 90 years. Start thinking. Don't believe this media. The media is there to entertain you and distract you. Okay? The distractions are the sensationalizing of whatever's going on. How many of you are still remembering Australia? The country down under with all the thunder? Remember how it was burning up? Have you forgotten that already? Are you aware now that New Zealand's being flooded? The impeachment, it's all but over now. Did you remember anything about it? Or is it now just gone? Something else is going to be sensationalized. Something else is going to be, whatever. And you're going to get caught up in that too. It's a mob mentality. And as long as you're part of the mob or the matrix mentality, they're going to keep on playing you like a violin until they pluck your strings. You cannot and can no longer afford to believe the media. It is nothing but pure bullshit. Always. It's always been nothing but pure bullshit. Let me explain something to a lot of you who are sort of up and coming on some of the truth matters. The media covered up for the last 100 years what's been going on in the undermining of America, Canada, Europe, and the rest of the world. They have not said a word. They knew things were going on, but they were told to keep quiet, and they did. And the media betrayed the trust of the general population by not telling the truth, by hiding the truth from the general population, allowing the dark entities that exist on this planet to take the positions they are in today, controlling life and death as we know it. These frequency towers that they've put out everywhere across the United States and Canada, we have absolutely no country. The continent is nothing but one big antenna. And they created a frequency to addict everybody to a cell phone. And if you think I'm crazy, I'll tell you what, shut it off, put it away, don't go back to it, and watch how inside your body will be screaming, "Yo, phone, please phone, I gotta have the phone, oh man, the dopamine phone." You can't even put the frickin' thing down when you're out with the general population. You can sit there at a table and everybody's got their effing phone on. Because the frequencies have you hooked and addicted. That's the way it is. And I'm going to tell you something else too. Okay, I grew up in the ghetto. Gotta tell you, when I grew up, I was a minority in the ghetto. All my friends had a suntan. Every one of them. They were all people of color, and they are the ones that they're targeting to hook the hardest with this technology. In fact, they give those phones away to them. Why is that? Did you ever think about that? Do you ever think perhaps they just want to keep these people in a state of slavery and stupidity? State of despondency, but they got a phone. Same thing with those people out in the suburbs, in the European, with those of the European descent. I'm not trying to depict anybody saying that because they're dark skinned they're poor. We are all poor today. We're all slaves. Okay, don't let anybody BS you that you're not a slave. I don't care what you think you are. I don't care how you address yourself, one way or another. Whether you address yourself in a very salt of the earth manner, or you address yourself in the most highest entitlement there is, you're still a slave. And this technology that's out there today is activated through your nano that's inside your body, and there's an interface that goes on between you and those frequencies. And They may already be putting in carbon C60 in the food supply. I mean, I think I've already read some research to this effect. Carbon C60 attaches itself to the brain and to the central nervous system, so it makes it easier to conduct the frequencies throughout the body, so they can now turn off and turn on your DNA. That's what's going on. What they're raining down from the sky, I'll tell you what's going on there. This is the means of the assault. See, first, we spray the sky with an injectable material or a nano material, which will then permeate and penetrate through anything you've got on. Doesn't matter if you got a snowsuit on, it will go through it and hit you. You'll either breathe it or come through skin contact, some way, somewhere, somehow. And then what winds up happening now, this says, oh, I found a home. Oh, look, there's a program over there for me to go to. It's sitting there waiting for me. Because they're emitting a frequency for this program to go attach itself to your DNA. And it can do this now through other means like XNA, PNA, DNA, GNA, LNA, all kinds of nucleic acids that can be utilized to conduct a transference of that information into your DNA. Now, all of a sudden, lo and behold, all of a sudden now you've got some kind of dilemma going on with your health. So what do? You pick up the cell phone. Cell phone says, hey, contact your doctor. You say, yeah, what a good idea. But you don't think in those terms because it's all being done on a subconscious level. You contact your doctor. Doctor says, come on in. We have a flu shot for you. So you say, okay, I'm on my way. And now you go to get your flu shot, which now injects more nano programming into your body, further causing your DNA to become more disengaged. See, this is a new form of biometric nano-engineered warfare. And this is now being put in all the food supply. Doesn't matter if you're vegan, vegetarian, meat eater, keto, whatever. Okay, doesn't matter. Your food supply is completely hooped. And until you understand that concept and get that through your head and get past this orgasmic or organic bullshit that hasn't been organic since 1960. See, I hear all the time some of the stupidest shit you could imagine coming out of people's mouths. And some of the things that people are saying to me are like 50 years outdated. I'm looking at them thinking, have you been in a cave all your life? And then so when I start explaining to them what's going on, I show them pictures and different graphs, all of a sudden they just about crap their pants. Some of them cannot handle that kind of truth. And if you are sharing these videos with people, or not video, audios with people, okay, some of them ain't going to be able to handle this truth either. Because this is so far out there that it's beyond the scope of the norm. Somebody really has to be ready to hear what I've got to be saying. Because everybody's still used to listening to fluff. See, everybody wants to go back to fluff, and I get that too. I'd love to go back to fluff, you know, vitamins, supplements, herbs, you know, essential oils, you know, homeopath, whatever, you know, taking something to treat a simple, specific, you know, pathology that's biologic rather than, you know, techno-biologic. I'd love to go back to those days. Those days were a lot easier. We saw so many results of people getting cured of cancers and other things. Today, it's a different story. Today, it's an entirely different story. You know, and we are no longer living in those days of that kind of simplicity. But again, a lot of the gurus are still pushing this mindset to keep you in a state of distorted distractions. The truth is completely distorted with these people. All they care about is selling you a product. Products that aren't going to do jack shit for you because they're not. None of these gurus that I've heard anyway. Maybe there are some talking now. Few and far between. But most of the top line gurus are not dealing with nano poisoning. You know, any of the ones that are on television talking about nano poisoning? No. Any of them on the radio talking about nano poisoning? No. They're talking about juicing. They're talking about, you know, organic, and they're talking about maybe a vitamin line or a supplement, which is okay. And I'm not saying that's completely wrong too. Understanding how supplements work is probably going to be the very key to most of you surviving, because the food supply is hooped, and unless you know how to neutralize the programming in these food supplies, guess what? They engage you. And guess what? This particulates loves carbon. That's why I keep saying the vegans are hooped and hard, because everything they're eating is carbon based. Everything they're eating is carbon. See, I've been saying for the longest time that we are not a carbon based life form. I've been saying that forever. When I went to school, we were not considered a carbon based life form. But I'll tell you what has happened. In the last 50 years, they have fed so much sugar from corn and other food products that are highly glycemic that the carbon content now has manifested to such a high level in the human body, in the men and women's body, that 50% of the composition of the body now is sugar. So now we're saying we're a carbon-based life form. That was induced and programmed. So that, because carbon is more conductive than even silica or any other metal out there. So then it's easier to emit a transmitter to transmit into a person because they're loaded with carbon. What happens when you have a child? You bring a child into the world. You feed the child any kind of carbon? No. What does a child feed on? Mom's milk. Wow, protein. Protein base. Now, another interesting thing about carbon is the more carbon you eat, the worse you feel. Most of these vegans look like shit after about 2 years. Most of them. They have no energy, no, their hair is done, their face is done, their skin is done, they look like they've aged. I saw one guy saying he was a vegan. He started off when he was 20 years old. By the time he was 22, 23, he looked like he was 90 years old. I said, what the bloody, I mean, and again, no common sense. I ate meat, I look good. I eat this, I look like shit. I mean, seriously. Veganism, vegetarianism, doesn't even work anymore because of the high level of metal in the food supply, unless you're going to juice and filter the nano out of these products. Is the only real way to eat these anymore. The root-based vegetables that have a high phytate and high saponin content is what you're looking for, because even though they have anti-nutrient properties, they also have a tendency to help wash the blood from any buildup of any toxins, like things like potato, yams. Yams is a very good one. Sarsaparilla root is another good one. You know, your nettle root, another good one. Dandelion root, another good one. You know, your carrots and your parsnips and your onion and garlic growing on the ground. Excellent choices for detoxifying and for building up glutathione. Both onion has quercetin and garlic. I am going to give you a formula right now. A formula. And I'll go slow so that you can write it. Or stop this thing when you need to repeat it. But this is going to fortify you more than anything you're going to buy at a store, which you can make all by yourself. Imagine that. You can make something better than the health food store is selling you. You might even be able to make something better than a pharmaceutical is going to sell you. Can you imagine that? You, the average person living in your respective country, town, city, can make something better than they can? Wow. Imagine that, eh? Don't tell anybody because they might get pissed off at you. All right. You're going to take about anywhere from 8 cloves of garlic to a whole bulb of garlic. You're going to put that in the blender. You're going to add vinegar, white vinegar, clear-based vinegar. Don't add no apple cider vinegar. The only vinegar you add apple cider is distilled. Forget that mother bullshit. That mother is loaded with metal. You don't want that. You want the straight distilled vinegar. I don't care what you use, but the clear base will work really well. You can add to this, copper chloride. If you got it made, add 1 dropper full of copper chloride, 1 dropper full of zinc chloride. Okay, put it in there. Add a little black pepper, add a little turmeric. What I did is I used turmeric essential oil. And I also added rosemary essential oil with it. Then what you do is you blend that out, about 2 to 3 drops of each oil. What else I can say in there? Okay, so you got a drop of this, drop of that. Yeah, 1 or 2 drops of the other, of the essential oil. You can put more if you want. You know, you can put if you want to put your rosemary and savory and other things. That's cool. Oregano. Blend that all up in your blender till the garlic is nice and smooth. One big pile of mush, like a very good parade garlic. Put that in a glass container, and I mean glass, not plastic or any other synthetic crap. When you use that solution, it's going to be hotter than blazes. It's going to be extremely hot. Use 1/5. Take a spoon, divide it by 5. So use 1 out of 5 or 1/5 of a teaspoon of this. If you've got a health condition going on, do that every 3 hours. I would even tell you take it with vitamin C. Okay? This will go a long way in helping. Oh, I added to mine too. I forgot to mention I added selenium with mine. I made a selenium liposome with sunflower lecithin. And I also added vitamin A to it, and I added CQ10 to mine, powdered. So you can do the same thing. There's many variations to this, so you don't have to follow me to a TTT, but keep it to that basic formula: copper chloride, zinc chloride, vinegar, garlic, and a couple of essential oils. What happens is when the vinegar mixes with the chloride, it produces hydrochloric acid. Imagine that, hydrochloric acid. Now, guess what hydrochloric acid does? It can kill cancer. Did you know that? In fact, some places in South America, they were injecting that into the body. It's an actual therapy that actually kills cancer. Now, what's that going to do with you? It can also help boost your immune system. It's going to help break down everything you're consuming. The garlic will transfer into NAC. That's 2 types of NAC, and then they go directly to glutathione. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is garlic. You got copper in there, copper chloride, which now again which would have the absorbability factor. It's a biocidal. It's going to protect the body from different types of infections that may hit it biologically. It'll help break down biofilm biologically. The zinc chloride, same thing. Both the copper and the zinc are brain nutrients. Wow, brain nutrients. Help you study, help you focus. Ooh, can you dig it? Can you dig it? Brain study, experimentation. Wow, yes. That's a truther's dream that everybody does this. Anyway, when consuming that, it's going to have it's going to have a boosting effect on your immune system. The zinc and the copper, when combined, this is why they made, this guy was showing you that on the YouTube. The zinc and the copper combined cause superoxide dismutase, which again is a super supporter of L-glutathione. So you got everything in there that's going to actually either make glutathione or boost glutathione. Plus, the sulfur in the garlic will also act as a chelating agent to help remove the heavy metals out of the body. Don't be surprised if you have a little bit of a diarrhea effect when you take this formula, because it's going to penetrate pretty quick. It's very hot. It's an extremely hot formula. The garlic will maybe mellow out after a while, but initially when you make it, it's hotter than blazes. So if you do take it and it does overwhelm you, do not drink water. Drinking water will only accentuate the heat. Instead, take yogurt, piece of cheese, milk if you got it, ricotta, cottage cheese, anything like this. This will neutralize the fire. You see how quick it will just shut that down. You can take a calcium pill, powder it up, and just swirl your mouth with it, and then swallow it. It too will help neutralize. Or a calcium supplement. That formula is going to do more for you through this winter than anything else you'll ever use. And guess what? All those components, other than the essential oils, unless you have a distiller, can be made at home. Now, if you've got children, this thing is a butt kicker. But you want your kids to have it, right? But it could be a little bit on the overwhelming side. When you go to cook meat or chicken or even eggs, Put a little vinegar in the pan that you're cooking. Okay? Take a little bit of that spread you just made and spread it on the meat or the egg or whatever you're cooking, you know, fish, lamb, chicken, whatever. And spread one coat on the top. Let it, you know, put a lid over the pan. Let the steam, you know, do its magic. Flip the meat over on the side, on the, you know, back on the other side. You want to put another layer on top, you can. You don't have to. And let it cook till it's well done. And you'll find that when you go to grab that knife or that meat from the pan, it's fragmenting, falling apart, because the acid in the meat or in the pan has broken the protein bonds of that meat, making the meat very, very digestible. You may find that when you eat meat, you start having that heavy pitted feeling in the stomach. You feel pretty good. You feel light. You feel like you got energy because you put in this combination that can increase the hydrochloric acid and make the digestion more efficient. So when you do this stuff, okay, and you make these things, don't be surprised that you may get a little diarrhea initially. You may, when you go to the bathroom, you may pee out something hot. I mean, there's lots of things that will happen that you may not be aware of. That will pass in about a day or so, and then, and like I said, keep going. Don't overdo it. Don't overuse it. So when you're giving this stuff to kids, put it on their food, layer it on the food, light layer. It doesn't have to be heavy. Cook the food, flip it over, you know, when you're cooking it, so that everything gets marinated or accessed. So when whoever eats whatever you're cooking eats, they'll have some measure of protection and neutralizing effect of what it is you are eating. Anything you can do, like I stated before, to fortify the DNA, the genetic code, the chromosome code, the mitochondria, the ATP part of the body, the cellular integrity, the brain in the body, the thyroid, the thymus, you know, the digestive systems, pancreas, you know, the spleen, the liver. These things need to be protected. You know, taking high doses of vitamin C for certain things, taking this other combination, or taking these things in conjunction with vitamin C. You can take both at the same time. Okay, anything you can do to protect your matrix, who you are, what you are, is going to be the key to in today's times of healing. It's not because you're a vegan. No. You're being, oh, I'm a vegan, you know, it would be a big deal. You're dying going to be dead before I am, you know. Or I'm a meat eater. Yeah, okay, big deal. And see, when you put that spread on the meat and you're cooking it, what's happening now is you're also neutralizing some of the heavy metal particulates that might be in that meat, if there's any. So, I mean, all animals will carry it. Anything you're eating is going to have it in there one way or another. So, it's important that, you know, you understand what's happening around you, how they're doing what they're doing. You know, it's not, this is not a game. They do not give a rat's backside about you. Okay, I'm going to hit an oldie and a newie. An oldie and a newie. Okay, we know there's a video out there, programmable vaccines for people who believe in God. And Bill Gates is in there, and the link is in here. Bill Gates is talking about how they got a vaccine that can shut down the part of the brain that believes in God or connects with God. Whether or not they can do it or not, that's not really the issue at this stage. This is something else I want to present. If they're talking about producing a programmable vaccine, what are you giving your kids? And how do you know that your children are not getting this vaccine putting into them so that they get turned off, shut down, or neutralized because of what they believe? How do you know what they're putting in these vaccines? None of you ever ask for ingredient lists when you're getting the shot. Hey, can I see the ingredient list in there? Oh, no, we can't. I don't want no shot until I see it, because I don't take nothing unless I can read it. Nobody does that. A friend of mine yesterday made a comment relating to abortions. You know, how a woman has rights, women have rights to have an abortion. I'm not here to challenge it one way or the other. It's the way it is, I just accept it. But they don't have a right to say no to a vaccine? Something wrong there? Is there something wrong? Think about that for a minute. They can say no to, they can say yes or no to an abortion. Oh yeah, I'll get it. No, I'll follow it through. Or they can get a a vaccine that they may not want, which can now completely disrupt their lives until they die. Anyway, the point is that Bill Gates was talking about hacking the brain with a program so they can access people and turn them off from believing in God, or turning off that segment of the brain that again has some kind of network. And now we have again these syringe injectable electronics. You know, the mark of the beast is right around the corner. I can see it. I mean, I've already seen it in China. They have no cash there. Got a cashless society. You know, and I can see the same thing. It's just got to be not that far away. You know, cashless system. And the reason why this is going to happen is everyone say, well, it's convenient. I don't have to worry about carrying money with me. I don't have to worry about my bank card being lost. Well, I can give you 101 reasons why people say it's a good thing. I'll give you one main reason it's a bad thing. You are no longer in any control whatsoever. All you are at that point is a drone fitted and designed to work for whoever's in charge in whatever area you live in. When you lose your access to your money and your financial security, and you surrender that security to the system, you no longer have security. You know, you're now living in the most tenuous situation you could have ever lived in, because you have become one with the government, and the government now has your assets and can do whatever they want with them. Nobody reads. Nobody thinks. Nobody sees these things as they should. And you young people, some of you are listening, but you young people, you dummies, I'm saying this really straight out, you dummies, you're believing that this system is going to take care of you. I get that. I get the program. Now, if you had a half a brain, you would go to a reserve in Canada or the United States and talk to the natives there and ask them how the government is taking care of them. This way, you're no longer under an illusion. And this way you can work at your autonomy to become really free. So pay attention. Guys like me are not always going to be around. Sooner or later, you know, it's our, you know, God says, okay, time to punch out. We do, we leave. We've been through the mill. Okay. The difference was we were a prototype. And we didn't have cell phones, and we didn't have towers, we didn't have a lot of things, but we did have a TV, and that TV really, really screwed us up bad. And we had the radio, which also screwed us up pretty bad. We've been through the gambit. We've seen these political leaders lie through their teeth, promise us the moon, say what they said what we wanted to hear. And what has always wound up happening is the reverse or the inversion of what they've agreed to do happens. You have no protection by any government. Not really. You know, if you decide to challenge the truth, again, by any government, they will, again, be there to make sure you change your tone, or whatever. That's the world we're heading into very quickly. You know, we're heading into a world where bullshit walks and money talks. You know, and that's the way it is. That's how it rolls. We can no longer trust any of the elite leaders that we have. Even the voted ones mean nothing. Zero. They will follow the agenda and the programming according to whatever they're told, and they will do whatever is being told. That's how it rolls. And they have an agenda right now to, again, reduce the general population down to, what, 6 million from where it's at today. And the best way to do it is through the diet. And they got a lot of you believing this vegan baloney. It's all horseshit, all of it. Because that's the cult belief system that you're in, and you don't even see it. You're in a cult, and that cult is dictating how you're going to live, what you're going to eat, what you're going to think, what you're going to breathe. I mean, you're believing that the general population on the earth is dying, and because we need to do this and we need to do that, we need to stop the hot house gases, and we need to, you know, and none of it is true. None of it. It's about bleeding money out of you so that they can continue, again, proselytizing and finding people, again, who are weak in the faith and will follow whatever they tell them. And I mean by weak in the faith, weak in whatever faith that you believe in or came from. This is the reality of today. This is the reality of today. So when I'm saying what I'm saying a lot of this is through my own personal experiences going through this thing. Being hit with nano poisoning. You have no idea some of the ungodly thoughts I have in my head, what I would do to these people that did this. Oh, it's just, that alone is pushing the limit. just what I'm thinking. That come in and have the audacity to come in there and just dump their experiment at a random on people or in a group on people without their consent, okay, which I never did consent to this, and to create the exploitation and experimentation. Where they made a mistake with some of us is they thought we were just going to cave in and die, and we said, Chuck U. Farley. And that's the problem with a lot of you young people today. You can't say Chuck U. Farley. Your idea of a rejection is, oh, okay. Yes, I lost my testicles a long time ago. Yeah, okay. And I don't blame the male population for this either. I really don't. I blame them, again, the same people that threw this shit at me, done the experiment on all the rest of you. Look at the generational differences between men from way back in the day and today. You know, young people, look at the difference. We worked our asses off. We were strong. We were healthy. We ate meat. We drank alcohol. You know, we caroused, which we probably shouldn't have done. You know, but we were strong and had the capacity to do this. A lot of you don't even have not even the quarter of the strength that we once had. That's not a good thing in this world. And when you hear the voice of skull technology hitting you in the head and telling you to do stupid shit, first thing you look at is your phone. Is it transmitting? If it is, put it away and put it far away from you to see if that transmission is still hitting your head or you're still hearing something that says, I'm God. Are you paying attention? You know, don't hear it no more, maybe because you're out of the range of the phone, but pay attention. They don't care. Remember I was telling you about the terahertz frequencies. Now if you fire a terahertz into a person, it's two fields. It's a microwave and an infrared going on at the same time. And how it causes untold damage to the circuitry. Well, I got this also here too. Terahertz is the one we're going to really need to be looking at. 5G is a bitch. Terahertz is going to be nothing but hell on this planet. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He was telling me that Elon Musk has got these electronic cars on the road, and they're actually emitting a frequency right through the other person's car. Because see, the way AI works, it's all about collecting data. And the more data it has, the more efficient it becomes. So when we're looking at some of the molds that they're using to depict whatever that they're depicting, picture a tiny little ball or a cell loaded with water, fluids, nutrients, synapses, whatever. Now all of a sudden that cell explodes for whatever reason. Okay, let's say for heat purposes. Somebody might have turned on a microwave and the thing came out undone. Okay, that mitochondria, that cell, okay, is what powers the body, what helps the body fight off infections. Disengage the mitochondria and you're hooped. That's what 6G does. And I'm showing you also what happens to hydrogen atoms when you put them together. They create superconductivity. This is why they use the terahertz frequencies, because it can, with the infrared, could permeate, penetrate the body, go inside, destroy the cell, release the hydrogen, and then get amped up and further conduct at a higher rate of speed to do the damage that it's doing. Why do you think it takes so long these days for some things to heal? Because some of it is coming from the parts coming from your body are no longer able to function like they used to because of what we're being exposed to today. Way it is. Look at the terahertz. I got it, and I got it up there. And now what I also did on this show today, like I said, I'm going back to the beginning now about the virginity thing. I put a lot of different sites on there, and one of them, believe it or not, is a 6G terahertz frequency, and it will explain to you and show you with some sort of illustrations what this will do to you. I said this before, we need to start studying on how to create barriers against these higher frequencies. What stops infrared? What stops the terahertz frequency? This is the things you need to study and then start building. Cover your windows or whatever you're building, or have the shields in some place where if something happens, then if you get hit with something, it goes right into your construct that you made. So like I said, you gotta look at what we're doing today. You gotta look at what we're doing with this 6G. We gotta learn how to build barriers and frequencies and neutralizing frequencies, because this goes through you like a knife, a hot knife in butter. Take a look at this. Pay attention. Pay attention. All this stuff is out there that I'm putting out today. Download it. Share it with everybody that is at least semi-awake. They may not read it now, they may read it later, who knows. But share this stuff so that you're no longer a virgin in a shark-loaded waterbed. You know what I mean? In other words, there's all kinds of sharks waiting to eat you because of your lack of understanding or lack of experience. This will help on that front. You can study it. You might even be able to make something, make different things that could protect you. Okay, it's all about protecting your DNA, all about protecting your genetic code. Always, always, always keep that in mind. It's not just a simple little, you can't even go outside for a walk today. Blue beam technology is coming from the streetlights. That's already 5G. And a lot of 5G is already in place. You're not going to stop this thing. This is already there. 6G is the one you need to work on. And I'm thinking that in that last YouTube I did, the last audio I did on the Podbean, when I show you that YouTube link, I think he got hit with a 6G terahertz. And I think, this is my opinion, my speculation based on what I'm observing with this whole thing, is that they are experimenting with 6G targeting right now. They're using this on the general population. They're targeting with a 6G terahertz frequency, not 5G. China's a little further ahead on the development of the 5G than we are in the West. But 6G looks like it would be the way to go as far as if we wanted to target certain individuals. It wouldn't be hard to do. Hit them, wipe out their mitochondria, infect them, they die. In this case, this is what they've done. They created an infection or a condition where their bodies are loaded with some kind of heavy metal, heavy nanometal, or nano programming. They've activated the frequencies, and now they're dropping. This is what I think is going on. This is what it appears to me as I'm watching and observing all these different events happening. You know, with this, I think more and more that this was not a 5G assault. Alrighty, I gotta find one more thing here. Give me 1 second here. Bear with me. I was doing something before I got to the show, and I forgot to get to. There we go. I think that's the one. Atlanta Freeland's out there doing a circuit or a speech, and I don't know where she's at right off the bat, but I mean she talked about the sky fence that's going on, and I think perhaps you might want to take a look at some of the things she's saying. She's also making the connections with the frequencies and the nano. A lot of people are coming to that perspective today, and we're no longer in this realm of just being, you know, thinking that it's a pathology or biology. So anyway, I'm trying to find where she's going to be. She's going to be in California. It's going to be, I believe, February 16th, if I'm not mistaken. So you may want to do some research on it, see where she's going to be. I got the email, but I forgot to access it. But check her out. Find her on an events list. Let's see here. Maybe that's what I'll see if I can find real fast. Maybe this will find it faster. But anyway, at the same time, yeah, there's other people on that site as well. Here we go. I think I found it. Let's see. Let me see here. Oh, she's going to be... What's that? Oh, that's 2019. Oh, crap. No, I didn't find it. Anyway, look her up. I am sorry I didn't get this information. I should have had it. And, crap. I hate doing that. But anyway, she is, I believe it's February 16th, somewhere in California. Look it up. And again, if you guys are on Aromac, because Aromac sometimes will download, you know, what, some of these shows. Actually download all these shows. You might want to, hopefully somebody will find the information. It's in my email somewhere, and I just forgot to access it, and I really feel like an ass because I didn't get that for her. I should have. But anyway, check her out. She's going to be on. If I find the information, I will post it in the Podbean, and one of the links. I got to go back to my email and find this stupid thing. But if I do, it'll be there as well. So keep your eye on it as well. And again, I apologize to Lana. I should have had this information for her. But anyway, she's going to be, I think, February 16th. That I remember, in California somewhere. All right. You also got Aromac. I mentioned him earlier. You know, he's got a website. He's out there putting the stuff out. You got Brian396. He's got a bunch of different sites out as well. Help these people financially if you can. I'm not saying I'm not forcing you to, and I don't mean to come off in an authoritative way. But help them if you can. If you can't help them, share their information. That will go a long way in helping them. Not only will it help them in getting the information out, but somebody else may be able to help them with the support that you may not be able to do. And that's cool. That is cool. You know, I don't have any fault for anybody being poor. You know, we've all been there. We've all been broke. We've all had nothing. You know, those of us who've actually lived in this life. So those of us who have had nothing understand sometimes you go through a tough time. Alrighty. Oh, I forgot my stuff. I almost walked away. Alright. You got the usual. The Augmented Force, the YouTube channel. You got the do-it-yourself on the BitChute channel. Those are where I've got. I just put on there a bunch of my Wix sites. So again, for those of you who are not aware, this is probably the easiest way to get the information. It's all going to be there. Get it, read it, explore it, discover it, share it. It's important that you do so. All right. Until the next segment, to your health, eh? Take care.